Welcome to the Coach Cameron podcast. This is episode 502. We're going to be talking about the Bundesliga and their COVID-19 rules. There's 51 pages of it. We're also going to talk about what happened to Temple University back in 2013 when they cut sports from 24/17, and fiscal problems are on their way. All of this on episode 502. So welcome to the I was about to say Phoenix College. That's where I'm at half the time. I just made like 40 phone calls on behalf of Phoenix College, and it's all in my brain right now. So forgive me. Hopefully I don't go back to that mode of making a bunch of phone calls. But let's get talking about the Bundesliga. Thank gosh they're coming back, but there's going to be problems as we manufacture problems. So luckily the German government on Wednesday confirmed that the Bundesliga can play, which is awesome. It's going to be the first major sporting leagues in the world to go forward. And they're going to hopefully lead the charge and get moving forward. And everything will be fine. But no, we're going to have a 51-page reopening plan. So this is what kind of talks about. It talks about the stadiums are going to introduce biological controls similar to that are required to a medical facility. Matches will be held without fans and under strict safety conditions, kind of like hospitals, without people in them. Including frequent testing of players, coaches, referees, and support staff. Stadiums will be allowed to have 330 people. That include security, club employees, team staff. Measures also will be taken to prevent fans from gathering outside the stadium and ensure social distancing in an attempt to try to prevent the virus from spreading. Well, I didn't even think about that one. Do you think the people are going to come out and cheer around the stadium? And what are they going to do to stop it? Gas them out. I mean, I'm curious what's going to happen, and hopefully the 51-page rule book they created for them doesn't go away or doesn't cause the end of the league, and that'll cause major problems. Here's the scary part of this article about the money that's involved in this whole thing. The Bundesliga had warned of a financial catastrophic problem if it was not allowed to finish their current season. So smaller clubs rely heavily on the television revenue that comes from live match broadcasts. In an interview with the New York Times, the Bundesliga CEO Christian Seifert estimates that the loss would amount to just over $850 million. If this season was canceled, a shortfall, he claimed, would lead to immediate financial crisis or around one in the three teams in the top two divisions. Just hearing those numbers should scare you because it's not just the Bundesliga. It's everywhere. The Premiership is having problems. I mean, their whole promotion relegation is going to be an issue because they're going to try to start the league. Maybe they're going to kind of watch what the Bundesliga does and then make a decision. I haven't heard anything from them, and maybe something happened, and I don't know yet. But we're kind of wondering what's going on because the ramifications on the financial crisis is going to be huge, and it's coming. And that's what we don't understand. We're trying this huge, great experiment right now to shelter in place, and now we're finding out that that's not slowing down the spread. People are in homes in New York from Governor Cuomo, the ones that everyone loves for whatever reason, is saying for some reason there's a huge percent of people getting sick by staying home. And he's confused. Of course we're confused. We don't understand this virus. We don't understand it at all. And we don't know how to combat it. So we came up with this thought process of let's shelter in place, stay in your homes. And everyone's, okay, bow down to that beautiful thinking that these scientists gave us and these medical experts have been wrong over and over and over again. And we're shocked by this. It's a great experiment. You know what? You know what's not an experiment is the economy crashing. It's crashed before. We know what happens from a bad economy. People die. It's called poverty. And I love my Facebook friends out there all just, oh, it's okay. You know, everything's fine. You know, a lot of them are like educators, you know, that have jobs and stuff already. and are getting paid to stay home and have a vacation, they do not see the poverty coming. When small business is destroyed, when people can't pay their bills, it's just, I don't even know why I haven't said it. What's the point of even saying it? Bad things are coming. That's all we know. That's all I know. I'm familiar with bad economy. I've been there. Not as bad as most, but I know what it's like. And I remember. Apparently not everyone else does. So anyways, so fiscal problems are coming. So it's going to come to the colleges and universities as well. And I've been saying this, I work at a college. Our budgets end like in the summer. Like July 1, they, renew budgets and stuff, and then they have to prepare for lost enrollment and what's going on. So there's going to be budget cuts. It's going to be throughout the whole country. So I want to talk about Temple athletics. And the reason I want to talk about them is because back in 2013, they reduced from 24 Division I sports to 17, which is the minimum. And before they did it, most athletic directors do this. They tend to cut men's soccer and then some other smaller sports, mainly because of Title IX. And it's soccer. It's kind of like, oh, they won't kick and scream or something like that. Well, it's not a smart thing to do. So if we learn from anything, so as you universities and colleges throughout America decide to make cuts, how about you pay attention to Temple athletics? Their university actually did this. Before they made their decision of which sports to get rid of, the decision is based on the result of a 7-month detailed analysis of Temple athletic situation. So they hired an outside firm to come in to look over the athletics. What's the cost going to be over time? The analysts looked at the athletic budget and its ongoing expectations for support, the facilities currently being used, and how much it would cost to upgrade them, a detailed comparison with other universities in American Athletic Conference, and comparison with other universities at higher education similar to Temple. So they did a whole cost analysis, and they didn't cut soccer, which was shocking. Typically, that's the way it is. They got rid of baseball, men's crew, men's gymnastics, men's outdoor track and field, and men's indoor track and field, as well as 2 women's sports, softball and rowing. So they did this back in 2013, preparing for budgets and future problems and whatnot. So they factored in the travel part of it, how much the uniform, equipment, and coaches and stuff. It made more sense for them to cut those sports than men's soccer, which is shocking. Typically, men's soccer is always going down. That's kind of the first thing they do. So before all you university and colleges decide to start cutting things, hire an outside firm to really look at what the costs are and what impacts they're going to have. And it does make sense to keep men's soccer. It is the future in the United States. And I know that's not something that everyone wants to hear. But, follow Temple's lead. Do what they do. And it makes more sense to have a situation like that. So that's all I have on today's podcast. And I'm hopeful that as we go through this, that we just gain some intelligence and not be so scared. If you are scared right now, hunker in, stay in your home. Okay? Leave the rest of us alone. Let us go. We can't be controlled by fear, and that's what's happening. And it's just my opinion. But wear a mask? I'm not gonna. Oh wait, there I am. We're finding out masks don't help. Dr. Fauci says it doesn't help. It doesn't help. I listen to Dr. Fauci on that. All right, peace out.